It has been a crazy year. How did you keep your sanity? If you have any remaining sanity left, then consider yourself lucky. Thankfully, Netflix was there for us, and there have been a number of amazing movies and TV shows released this year with talented casts and compelling stories. Today, Scarlett Media presents our list of 10 ways that Netflix saved our sanity in 2020. Binge on the like and subscribe buttons, or comment below to tell us what we missed. Spoilers ahead. Number 10. Tiger King. Yes, we did. And no, this is not one of our worst of ruined lists. Tiger King is one of the most polarizing phenomenons of 2020 and cannot be forgotten about. This Netflix gem tells the loud and crazy tale of the loudest and craziest cast of reality characters since Jersey Shore. Tiger King is filled with the things of nightmares, including Joe Exotic's surreal music videos and a cast that thrives on animal cruelty, are drug addicts, are alleged murderers, and are basically the perfect examples of the worst of humanity. With all this against it, the world's shared obsession with this cluster of a show united people in conversation, something lacking for most of the year. Number 9. The Old Guard. The Old Guard is an action and fantasy film with an interesting premise, one that involves immortal soldiers who have the power to be able to heal themselves. When they discover someone is onto their secret, they suddenly must join together in battle to defend their freedom. If you're not hooked yet, maybe knowing that this movie stars Charlize Theron will help. She is an actress that always has the audience's full attention, while she slays badass female protagonists. Heck, we even like her when she's the antagonist. Kiki Layne is also great in this flick, and you might also recognize Harry Melling. He played Dudley in the Harry Potter series. Melling must be keeping busy lately as he shows up in another title on today's list. The stellar cast had us clinging onto a sense of stability and hope this 2020. Thank you, Netflix. Number 8. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Calling all late 80s and early 90s kids, if you were a fan of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from 1989 or its sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey from 1991, then you're in luck. The duo is back and they're all grown up with children of their own. But that doesn't mean the adventure is over. In this newest chapter, the ruler of the future tells Bill and Ted that they have to create a new song in order to save the planet. But instead, they decide to steal it from their former selves. While Bill and Ted are on their time-traveling mission, their daughters devise their own plot to help their fathers save life as we know it.
Hey, Dad. Life it isn't a wild stallions.
Some people say that this film is fan service, but what's wrong with that? If fans want more Keanu Reeves, then more Keanu is what they are going to get. Netflix knows exactly what we needed to get us through this year. Number 7. Rached. If Sarah Paulson and Ryan Murphy are involved in something, then you know you must watch that thing. Am I right? Or is that just us? In Rached, the show's main character is based on a nurse from 1975's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This show is the nurse's prequel story, as it follows that young Rached as she works at a mental hospital, capturing her transformation into an utterly monstrous caretaker. It's creepy, of course. We knew it would be from just looking at the cast, but what really makes it unique is how visually stunning it is. The colors are so lush, unlike the dark and gloomy horror we've grown so accustomed to. Style alone, this TV show certainly stands out. And unlike The Patients, we're holding on to our sanity, thanks to this Netflix original. Number 6. The Devil All the Time. This movie is based on Donald Ray Pollock's novel of the same name, and the film adaptation was directed by Antonio Campos. It follows truly sinister characters as they tie into the life of a young man named Arvin. He unfortunately discovers early on that he is unable to always protect the ones he loves, but he tries anyway. This story is set post-war in a small town full of utter corruption. And I know that we've said it before, but what a talented cast! Tom Holland, Sebastian Stan, Bill Skarsgård, and serious props have to go to Robert Pattinson for that accent.
I'm going to eat these organs. I model myself on the good Lord Jesus whenever he gives me the chance. And today, he's blessed me with another opportunity to follow in his footsteps.
Although he might not be considered as dreamy after this role, he happens to play a real sicko. Earlier in our list, we mentioned that Harry Melling would show up again, and here he is. You can catch him playing Roy, a gentleman who's out of luck in The Devil All the Time. This movie will take you on one messed up roller coaster ride, showing you what it means to be unholy. But surprisingly, you'll feel saner because of it. That's because this Netflix film is seriously well produced. Number 5. Project Power. This movie is about a former soldier who joins forces with a cop, hoping to discover who is behind a hazardous pill which side effects give its user temporary superpowers. Project Power is a superhero movie, but here, the heroes are not characterized by their costumes or alter egos, but by their powers. Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Dominique Fishback are the lead roles, as Netflix proves again that it calls in the big guns when it comes to their casting. And we are happy to see it. Viewers have seemed to agree there are no slow parts in this movie, and its action sequences pair well with the amazing visual effects. If you haven't checked it out already, then you probably should. Project Power is a lot of fun and possibly one of the best action movies of the year, and that is why it's made today's list. Number 4. The Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Academy is a seriously cool show, and its premise is no different. If you haven't checked out this gem already, then here is a little backstory to entice you. In 1989, 43 infants were mysteriously born to unconnected women who didn't know that they were pregnant until they suddenly were. 7 were adopted by a billionaire named Sir Reginald Hargreaves, the creator of the Umbrella Academy. He went on to create a team of children who he hoped would save the world, but the team eventually broke up, going their separate ways. So in present time, the show follows the now 6 surviving members as they reunite upon hearing that Hargreaves has passed away. Together, they solve the mystery surrounding his death. But this proves difficult, as a worldwide catastrophe proves to be another impending threat. The ideas behind the Umbrella Academy are great, and that might have to do with the fact that this series is based on graphic novels that were created by the My Chemical Romance lead singer Gerard Way. Pretty cool, right? Its plot certainly helped us regain a sense of sanity. The show also stars Elliot Page and several other hugely talented actors, another reason why it's so high on today's list. Number 3. Lucifer. Here is a great title if you're looking for something to binge now, maybe even something to help get you through the duller days of quarantine. Lucifer, being the demon he is, comes back to Earth from his long stay in hell looking for a vacation. Here, he decides to live in Los Angeles, where he starts running his own club. Unable to stop his devilish ways, which include a lot of drugs, women, and drinking, he gets into a handful of trouble. But more than that, Lucifer starts a gig that he didn't expect that he'd have. He begins assisting the local police in cracking difficult criminal cases, catching feelings for a detective along the way. Seeing archangels intermingle with humans keeps things interesting, and beyond that, this series has a way of keeping its audience on the edge, keeping us sane and entertained. If you're a fan of this show, then you probably already know, but Season 6 has recently begun filming. How exciting! Number 2. The Queen's Gambit. This show almost made our number 1 spot because it truly embodied all the elements of a show that saved our sanity in 2020. A compelling story with fascinating characters enacted by a very talented cast. The Queen's Gambit follows prodigy Beth Harmon, who has the mind and skill to masterfully play one of the oldest and most intellectually challenging games of all time, chess. We follow Beth Harmon through the many and very intense internal and external struggles that she faces and has to overcome in order to become the world's first female grandmaster. The Queen's Gambit is a deceivingly realistic work of fiction and is absolutely brilliant. And no one appreciates its brilliance more than eBay. Why eBay, you may ask? Well, fun story. Remember how I said the story was deceivingly realistic? Yeah, after this show aired, a whole lot of wannabe chess players were, let's call it, inspired by Beth Harmon's story and deluded themselves into thinking they too could be the next chess prodigy and beat the Russian grandmasters at their own game. So they went on eBay, bought themselves a shiny new chess set, completely overlooking the fact that you can't buy skill, and increased eBay's sales of chess sets and accessories by over 200% since the start of the show in October. Damn! Whether it be delusions of grandeur, a new love for an old game, appreciation for a beautifully told story, or respect for the young talented actress Anya Taylor-Joy, The Queen's Gambit saved many a sanity this year, earning a very strong 2 on this list. Before we get to our number 1 choice of Netflix heroes that made this crazy year a little better, smash that subscribe and like button so you won't miss any of our ruined or saved videos. We have a brand new year ahead of us and lots more movies, shows, and games to love and loathe. Number 1. Enola Holmes. Enola Holmes is a spy drama about a fearless teen who searches for her mother by using her spying skills to outmaneuver her older brother Sherlock. all the while helping a runaway lord. Even just her name, Enola, is a significant clue that leads to a wonderful mystery. The film is truly captivating, with stunning cinematography, excellent setting, and an amazing performance from the very talented Millie Bobby Brown, someone that we have all come to love. This child prodigy has serious acting skills, but she proved that to us long before this in Netflix's Stranger Things. Here in Enola Holmes, Brown has pulled off another riveting performance as the film's protagonist. If you're a fan of Henry Cavill, he's also in this film, giving his rendition of Sherlock Holmes. Because of its talented performances, we rate Enola Holmes as the #1 film to have restored our sanity in 2020. A serious feat. After going through that list and watching all this great content, we feel so much better. But what about you? Did Netflix save your sanity this year? What other movies and TV shows helped you escape reality in 2020? Let us know in the comments below, and before this year ends, we at Scarlett Media would like to wish you all a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.
Oh, 2020. The year we all learned that nobody will survive the zombie apocalypse because apparently toilet paper was #1 on everyone's must-have to survive list. I'm starving! This is terrible! But at least my bum's looking spiffy. The year that Mother Earth just had enough of everyone saying that there was no way to lower emissions and slow climate change. The year that Karens came drunkenly stumbling out of the woodwork en masse in all of their crazy glory. The year the medical profession had an influx of newly minted internet doctors who didn't need 10 to 14 years of medical school. Just the knowledge that 5 minutes on Reddit can provide and the bullheaded expertise of an uninformed opinion.
That man harassed me for not wearing a mask. I have a breathing problem. My doctor would not let me wear a mask.
Because who needs a medical license in 2020? The year we learned God is a mean kid sitting on an anthill with a magnifying glass, and I'm the ant. He could fix my life in 5 minutes if he wanted to, but he'd rather burn off my feelers than watch me squirm. Smite me, oh mighty smiter! The year time travelers try to avoid. The year we all slightly wondered, what if 2020 is just a trailer for 2021? We would hate to go against the tide and be the bright light at the end of the 2020 tunnel. So join us, and together we will blame Netflix for adding to our misery this year, as today, Scarlett Media presents 10 ways Netflix ruined our sanity in 2020. If you are also ready for the new year to start, let the ball drop on the like and subscribe buttons, or hit the dislike button if you'd prefer to keep 2020 going and don't mind being wrong. Spoilers ahead. Number 10. Space Force. Starting this list off was a show whose ratings were at a point of contention, even within our team at Scarlett Media, very closely resembling the divide between the critics on Rotten Tomatoes that gave Space Force a 38% and audiences who gave it a 75%. At the end of the day, Space Force made it onto this list because we could have agreed with those that thought it saved 2020, but then we'd all be wrong. Space Force follows General Mark Narrett and his team, who are tasked with establishing the US Space Force and putting boots on the moon in 2024, and was derived from the real-life Space Force founded in 2019, with a show that was created by comedic geniuses Steve Carell and Greg Daniels, and a star-studded cast of truly funny, brilliant people, like Steve Carell, John Malkovich, Ben Schwartz, Lisa Kudrow, Jane Lynch, and Fred Willard, to name a few. We were all looking forward to a show of equal caliber to that of The Office. The truth of the matter is not that Space Force was bad, it's that we were disappointed, and it was just one more disappointment this year could have done without. Number 9. Holidate. Like us, you may have gone into this film thinking it'd be a Christmas movie. How naive. Because why stick with one holiday when you can span all the holidays and make a real mess of things? But that isn't even the heart of why this movie absolutely deserves to be on this list. Holidate follows Salone, a young adult who is done with being single during holidays. In a random sequence of events, she and a stranger named Jackson agree to be each other's platonic dates for every celebratory event to avoid the dreaded and awkward family-initiated hookup. Like all corny rom-coms, the script stays true to the outdated and overplayed trope of girl meets boy, girl friends boy, and the big climax, drumroll, girl loves boy. Add to that jokes that just don't land, and Holidate truly tested our sanity in 2020. Number 8. Spenser Confidential. Mark Wahlberg stars in this mystery, or perhaps thriller, and I think we just hit on why this is on our ruined 2020 list. Spenser Confidential tries to poke its confused little fingers in all the genre pies, and gets a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes for its clumsy efforts. This buddy cop movie follows a former police detective named Spenser as he returns to Boston to solve a murder conspiracy. With a generic story, cliché action scenes, and weak humor, Spenser Confidential is what no action flick should ever aspire to be. Plain old boring. Oh, and it has the shocking audacity to tease the possibility of a sequel. Because the magic of Marvel movies can be replicated simply with a coming next teaser built into the script, right? On the flip side, Marky Marky does take off his shirt in the movie. So if that's worth an hour and a half of mind-numbing boredom, then by all means have at it. We won't judge too much. Number 7. October Faction. This show should be good in theory, but unfortunately, shoulda woulda coulda does not a hit show make. Based on a comic by the talented Steve Niles, a comic book author famous for 30 Days of Night and many other dark comics, Netflix's October Faction follows a monster hunter couple, Fred and Dolores, and their teenage twins. With subplots that have no resolution and characters that actually manage to take you away from moments of attempted intensity, it's no wonder that this show was cancelled after just one season. If you are a fan of the TV series Supernatural, if you love the brother duo Sam and Dean, and if you are looking for something to fill the void that Supernatural's end will inevitably leave, then look elsewhere, because October Faction is definitely not it. Number 6. The Goop Lab. Even before this show existed, there was a part of YouTube that made fun of how ridiculous some of the items in the Goop store were, from healing stickers to candles that smelled like a lady's, well, you know.
She sells all sorts of wacky stuff on her site, especially in the wellness section. You know, vitamins and supplements, aromatherapy, cosmic health.
They had a range of products that one could compare to classic snake oil fraud marketed cure-all elixirs. Now Netflix has decided to jump on the cuckoo train and drag us all down to Crazy Town with Gwyneth Paltrow and her Goop team, something that no one really asked for. In each episode, they review wellness topics from psychedelics to vampire facials. Yes, you heard me right. The Goop Lab has got you covered. Watching this, you'll know that it's utter nonsense, but Paltrow has everything structured so stylishly that she turns what could be outrageous and ridiculous into something, God forbid, normal. The Goop Lab brought our sanity into question this year, and so we leave you with this advice. Watch it at your own risk, and don't say we didn't warn you. Number 5. The Kissing Booth 2. This rom-com is a sequel. Yes, I know. Who would have thought that The Kissing Booth 1 could have spawned another demon child? The Kissing Booth 2. We should have known. After all, money does have a way of throwing good taste right out the window. This regrettable movie follows a young couple, Noah and Ellie. After enjoying a romantic summer together, Noah must go off to Harvard while Ellie attends her senior year. As the movie drones on and you wade through a mirror of visual garbage that is basic teen romance drama tropes, challenge yourself to hold on to the little sanity that this year has left you. It won't be easy, we know. This movie broke our brain, but it's a fun little game nonetheless. However, if you suffer from low expectations, there is a very real possibility that you might find something here to enjoy. But we make no promises. Number 4. Hillbilly Elegy. Hillbilly Elegy should have been great. It's based on J.D. Vance's 2016 book Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis. The book dives into the stories of children who, after growing up in painful environments, find their purpose in life without falling victim to their circumstances. The movie had the potential to become the latest Oscar bait, a heartfelt story paired with outstanding acting. But it swung so hard the other way that it gave us whiplash, ending up as one of the worst movies of the year, instead of one of the best. It had good intentions, and it tried hard, but at the end of the day, the movie took itself too seriously and just felt desperate. A good film should not need to try so hard to forcibly remove the teardrops from our eyes. Our tears fall au naturel, goddammit. To be fair, audiences on Rotten Tomatoes have rated Hillbilly Elegy a whopping 82% to the critics' rating of 26%, so we leave it up to you to decide whether or not you'll risk your sanity on this one. Number 3. Coffee and Kareem. We love Ed Helms, and our hopes were high for another solid comedy that would make us laugh our worries away. This was not it. Ed Helms plays James Coffey, a less-than-competent cop who's forced to team up with his girlfriend's foul-mouthed 12-year-old son, Kareem, after Kareem's plan to have Coffey beat up by criminals backfires. Get it? Nope. Don't worry about it, it's not even worth repeating. Just like it wasn't worth watching. This movie is the result of people who either are not funny enough to write anything remotely witty, or are just too damn lazy. The amount of reliance on the shock value of crude humor, which, in our opinion, is the lowest form of humor, spouting out of the mouth of a 12-year-old is just so painfully unfunny, it was enough to give us a fledgling desire to hop back aboard the reality train of 2020. And anyone wanting back on 2020 must be losing their mind. Coffee and Kareem did have some redeeming value to it though, and they came in the forms of Taraji Henson and Betty Gilpin. As entertaining and talented as they are, it just was not enough to stop the sanity drain caused by this film. Number 2. Desperados. Desperados. Where to begin? Another disappointing and painfully unrealistic predictable rom-com with an outdated view of romance and cringeworthy jokes. The plot centers around Wesley, a quirky young woman who is unlucky in love until one happy day she meets her dream boy. After a thrilling date which seems to go well, she doesn't hear from him. So she shrugs, smiles, and moves on with her life. Right? Ha! You wish. Obviously, the only way to remedy that situation in the movie world starring Desperate Woman is for Wesley and friends to send a crazy email to a man she hardly knows, only to find out a little while later that said man is hospitalized in, Mexico. And then, what do you know, fly to Mexico with her friends to break into Loverboy's hotel room in order to delete the email. Because that is just what well-adjusted, normal women do. This movie had our sanity teetering off the edge of a very large, shiny building, because the drop to the world of insanity was far more attractive than a world where this movie existed. Here we are. This is what it all comes down to. Our number 1 choice. But before that, wondering why we took the low road and focused on movies and TV shows that ruined 2020? It's super simple. The love of hate-watching and our impossibly charming immaturity possessed us. If the art of hate-watching lies deep within your soul, as it does ours, then hit that like and subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any of the fun. Number 1. The Last Thing He Wanted. Wow, this movie must be embarrassed. And so it should be. A 5% on Rotten Tomatoes? For shame! The Last Thing He Wanted tells the story of a reporter who leaves her job to care for her dying father, and in turn becomes caught up in his life as an arms dealer. The film stars Anne Hathaway, Ben Affleck, and William Dafoe, and is directed by Dee Rees. How could they go wrong? A stellar cast and a phenomenal director. Seriously, check out Dee Rees' work if you haven't already. Just pick any other title than this one. This incoherent film with serious narrative shortcomings and poor character development could not be redeemed even by the tremendously talented cast. The Last Thing He Wanted was so convoluted, it had us questioning our sanity. It had us wondering if the movie was so good that it completely went over our heads. No, the movie was just that bad. Do you also enjoy hate watching? Does it provide you with as much entertainment as it does us? Are there any other movies or shows you wished would have, but didn't save your sanity in 2020? Let us know in the comments below. We at Scarlett Media wish you all a happy new year and look forward to hate watching with you in the year to come. Thanks for watching.